Welcome to the Loyola University New Orleans College of Law Library video tutorial series on the Louisiana Statutes Annotated. This is Part 1, an introduction to the Louisiana Statutes Annotated. The Louisiana Statutes Annotated, commonly referred to by its abbreviation LSA, is the compiled collection of all current statutes, code articles, and other legislative instruments currently in effect in Louisiana. There are 6 major components that make up the LSA. They are the Civil Code, Code of Civil Procedure, Code of Criminal Procedure, Code of Evidence, Children's Code, and the Revised Statutes. The LSA also has several volumes with both the Louisiana and the U.S. Constitutions, and it has other volumes, features, and advanced research tools that we'll talk about in Part 3 of this series. The LSA is collectively referred to as the Louisiana Statutes, even though 5 of these 6 components are, strictly speaking, codes. They're codes because of Louisiana's French and Spanish civil law heritage, but the distinction of being codes really doesn't have any practical impact upon the legal researcher. Whether an enacted piece of legislation is a statute in the Revised Statutes component of the LSA or is an article in one of the codes, they all have the same force of law. To find a particular statute or code article in the LSA, use the 2-volume paperback index, usually shelved at the end of the LSA. When you look up terms related to the issue you're researching, the index will refer you to the specific code articles or statutes by using the standard abbreviations for the different components of the LSA shown here. So, for example, an entry in the index for CCP 375 refers you to the Code of Civil Procedure, Article 375. If the index gives you a numeric citation without any abbreviation, such as 6:623, then those numbers are referring to the revised statutes, in this case, Title VI, Section 623. You might also see entries in the index for the Louisiana Constitution, which look like this: Constitution, Article 7, Section 18. Let's try this hypothetical research question to see how the index works. What is the maximum penalty in Louisiana for the theft of an alligator? Looking up alligator in the index, this is what we find. 2 cross-references, one for fish and game, and one for furs, pelts, and skins. These indicate that we should look up those terms in the index instead of alligator. Let's try the first one, fish and game. Under fish and game in the index, look for alligators. Then browse the sublistings for alligators, and eventually you'll come to this sublisting for theft, which refers us to Title 14, Section 67.13 of the Revised Statutes component of the LSA. With that citation in hand, look in the Revised Statutes component of the LSA for Title 14 and find the volume that indicates on the spine that it contains Section 67.13. In that volume, flip through the pages until you find 67.13, Theft of an Alligator. This section defines theft of an alligator, then sets up a 3-tiered penalty based on the value of the stolen alligator or, as the statute specifies, the alligator parts. Subsection B1 lays out the maximum penalty. If the value stolen is $500 or more, then the maximum penalty is imprisonment for up to 10 years and a fine of up to $3,000 or both. The hardback volumes of the LSA aren't republished every year, but the Louisiana legislature passes new laws every spring during the 2 months that they are in session. To see if there have been any recent laws passed by the legislature that may have changed 1467.13, look in the back cover of this volume for the pocket part. These are published every year and contain the new laws passed by the legislature which amend, revise, or repeal the laws in that volume. So, flip through the pocket part, look for our same citation, and see if there's any new text. Yes, the pocket part has new text for this section showing that it's been amended since the hardbound volume was published. What's changed are the dollar amounts that trigger the 3 levels of punishment. The maximum punishment now doesn't kick in until the value of the stolen alligator or alligator parts is equal to $1,500 or more. Changes were also made to the other 2 tiers of penalties for the theft of an alligator. So, to summarize, in the main volume, the original law said that the maximum penalty kicked in when the value of the stolen alligator or alligator parts was $500 or more, but the pocket part shows that under the current amended statute, the maximum penalty doesn't kick in until there are $1,500 worth of stolen alligator or alligator parts. That's the basics of using the Louisiana Statutes Annotated. In the other videos in this series, we'll look at the annotations in the LSA, some advanced research tools it has, and the different electronic versions of the LSA.